In today's podcast, I will be talking about one of the most difficult and at the same one of the most important element of each salesperson and each sales team. We will be talking about the mindset and characteristic of great salespeople. It's to my heart because since last I am actually stopped counting, but maybe 13 years, I am trying to perfectionize or to improve or to get better in the art that I call sales. And having specific mindset, having specific characteristic, having specific work ethic, that was the main element that I could implement to myself and to my clients to help me and them improve their sales performance, get more clients, win more deals, and enjoy being the salesperson much. So let me get right into it. My name is Adam Skoneczny and you are listening to Go Global Asia podcast. I've been living in Asia for past 8 years. As the CEO of EVIT organization, I have spent the last 6 years helping Asian IT companies expand into Western markets by building professional sales teams and sales processes. In this podcast, I am discussing everything related to sales in IT industry as well as collaboration with Western clients. At the beginning of our podcast, I would like to spend a few seconds to discuss about the podcasting itself. So it's been a few episodes now already. I actually stopped counting. I think it's more than 6 episodes now, and I feel really happy, as I mentioned last week. But the huge challenge and then test of my persistence will be happening from the next month, because from when I started recording the podcast until today, I've been recording episode every single week. However, next month I am going to Europe. I am going to visit my family. I am going to visit some client, do some work as well, and it's going to be extremely busy time. As I said, this will be real test to my persistence and to my engagement with this podcast. However, I am feeling very confident that I can pass this test and I can still recording and publishing one podcast per week. So this is about what is going on with the podcast. I would like to share from time to time this kind of information because I really want to build a community around our podcast, around our subject, which is the global expansion and go global, and around the sales. I strongly believe if we will have great salespeople among us, that life will be easier for everyone. So this is the mission here, the mission of the podcast and my deep mission. And to accomplish this mission, today I decide to talk about mindset and the characteristic of the sales people. Today I will share with you 15 elements that I usually introducing to the new clients, new sales department that engaging with my organization for the consulting purposes or for the training purposes. Those 15 elements that are really, really important. And if you will be so, I don't know what to say, smart or lucky or persistent, very hard to describe this, but if you be able to implement them into your life, your sales skills, your work, your performance will become much better. And this is the promise. This is a promise for this podcast, and this is promise for this content. So this is something that I can guarantee you because I saw this change happen in myself, and I saw this change happen into the people who join our consulting services, in the people who also join our trainings. And they've been trained and informed about this kind of characteristic mindset, ethic of the top salespeople. So what is important to understand? I've been so lucky that uh, I am very curious since I was small child, and very often happen that many young children are curious. That this is actually a characteristic of young people, the people who join into this world and then they discovering everything. And and if you observe the children, if you may be blessed to be parent, you can observe the children that with the time this curiosity is disappearing by itself, or sometimes unconsciously parents they killing this curiosity. So for instance, how they can kill it though. Imagine that you said as a child that to your parents that you want to join to basketball team, and after you join after 1 week you say, I don't like it, and then next week you say I want to join football team, and your parents bring you to the football classes and you join and you say I don't like it, and then you join to the swimming pool classes, and after two lessons I don't like it, I don't want to do it, and the next time when you ask your parents for joining any additional courses, classes, they will actually, there is a very highly likelihood that they will give up and say, no, last time you didn't do it, and no, this time you will not also do it, so you will not join. Yes. And this is the way, one of the example, how the parents can kill curiosity in the children. But about me, I was so lucky that my mom, she keep pushing me to trying the different stuff. And to be honest with you, this curiosity stay with me. Why I'm talking about that? Because I've been so lucky that my passions, the things what I am curious about, I can put them together to, how to explain, to make something what I am good at, like sales, even better. So what I mean here, I am curious about a few things. One is psychology. I'm really curious about psychology. Psychology pushed me to self-development. I'm really curious how far I can reach as a human, how far my brain can reach. Then I am curious and very interested about cells. And I am very curious about the technology. And then if you look at those four elements, let's say from separate perspective, you would say those things they not have much to got to do with together. But actually, to be honest with you, they have a lot of got to do it. What I did, I managed to take all of those four my passions and put them together to become better in each of them. So psychology helping me to become better salesperson because it's easier for me to understand other people and understand my mindset, and it's easier to me to fix it because I am interested also in self development. So psychology give me theory about the human brain, but the self development give me tools how to actually implement the assumptions or goals we have. Then I can apply all of this to the cells, but also I can take psychology theory and apply to my clients. Thanks to this I can understand what they think. And then last but not least, the one what is the most obvious to connect technology. So obviously I decide to do the sales in technology because I am passionate about technology. My passion for technology started many years ago with a blockchain and AI, and then it grew to the more standard technology, to software, and how the software can help people solve the problem. So this is a little bit quite long introduction or development of the subject, but probably you can see at this stage that I am really, really passionate about this subject. And most of my clients, they know this right away. They notice right away that I am really passionate about psychology. I'm really passionate about sales. I can talk about this for a very long time. There are 100 other passions I have that I also implement to sales. Like for instance, I am passionate about traveling and different culture. So for me also, I am applying this to sales by teaching how different culture have a different work ethic or business work ethic. So those are the things that help me and give me the right to talk about the good mindset, about the how to implement those mindset, what kind of characteristic is the best to win in the go global competition. Because yeah, we are salespeople, we are living in competitive environment, and we need to compete against other, and we should win. We can win by having better tool sets. For instance, your characteristic, your mindset, those are your tools. And on the very beginning of this podcast, I said this is the most important, and I 100% agree and keep what I said. But also, I said this is the most difficult one. Why? Because I will not talking a lot about the hard skills. Mm, Hard skills, those are the skills that you can really easily learn. I mean, relatively easily learn. You can create some frameworks. You can create some checklist to implement the hard skills and measure them and check them very easily. However, today we will talk about mindset and characteristic, which is a bit more difficult to measure. It's a bit more difficult to implement, but it's possible. I will share with you some tools I am using, the tools I got from the self-development, let's say, passion. And I show you how I implement them by myself and how you can implement them. So it's not only I will share with you those 15 elements, but also I will share with you how to implement them. Right. So let's start. I would like to start with a characteristic of the salesperson. So, salesperson, they are always prepared. Preparation, it can help us to save the time, save the deal, and save the time of the client. It can help us to feel more confident during the meeting, to guide the meeting, to have an agenda and things like that. Preparation is extremely important. And to be honest with you, that's why I have the consulting firm, because actually being consultant, it's preparing client for everything what will happen during the sales process. So let me get a little bit deeper here and maybe more specific. What kind of preparation I'm talking about? For instance, preparation to your meeting, preparation to your discovery call, preparation of your strategy. Before you doing lead generation, prospecting, you prepare how you do it. Don't do it the way I call it feeling way. Today I feel I will do this kind of prospecting. Today I feel I will do this kind of lead generation. No, usually those elements sometimes they work, but the problem about them, you cannot measure them. If you do sometimes this and other time that, it's very very difficult to measure result and outcome. Actually result you can measure, but outcome and compare against the other methodologies. So the first element might sound very simple, but you need to be prepared. And again, you need to be prepared on the basic level for preparation to the meeting, preparation of material, preparation of the script, and many more, preparation of your team. And the second, you need to be prepared on the high level. Be prepared, prepare your strategy, prepare your prospecting strategy, prepare your lead generation strategy, prepare your sales strategy, prepare campaign strategy. So this is the number one characteristic of the salesperson. And let me give you right away the most important one. And then the most important characteristic of salesperson, in my opinion, is to be empathic. Meaning to have empathy and being able to notice and understand other people, to have this ability to put yourself in the shoes of other person. And if you ask me, what is one the most important skills or characteristic of the salesperson, I would say it's empathy. And you might be curious why I said skill, because to be honest with you, I believe empathy you can train. Why I believe that? Why I think that? Because I did that. I trained the empathy very unique way, and well, just maybe to clarify, I did it a little bit unconsciously. So what I mean here, you know, I was born in Poland and lived in Europe, lived in Ireland for a very long time. It's an environment where individualism is promoted, meaning we live our own lives and we do not care much about other people. And this kind of setting, cultural environment will reduce our capabilities of empathic thinking. And then I came to Vietnam into environment where people live in a group and people care about other and people care about other feeling and people have indirect communication, and because of this indirect communication you need to observe, think, sometimes guess, but you need to be very empathic in this environment to be able. And I started learning this skill more than 8 years ago now, I think, if I remember well. And it's completely changed the way I can look now at the any person and any client. So that's why I'm telling you the empathy can be taught. I did some also conscious move to train my empathy. There is the book. I don't really remember the title. It's one lady wrote this down about the people who have skills to be more empathic than. And the book was about the challenge of these people because they feel too much emotion. And this was very interesting also for me to understand, to open my mind that there is the other way to see the world or to experience other people than the way I have. And that was one of the also very important element, and that helped me understand that empathy is a skill and we can train it. Additional element what I did, it was I used to spend hours in the coffee houses on the very early stage when I came to Vietnam and observing people and their behavior. At that stage I didn't understand language, so I was trying to guess by observing them, that by tone of voice, by the way they move, uh, what is the conversation about, what they feel, are they arguing, are they in the good relationship, and things like that. Just basically sitting down and consciously observing and asking myself question that later on will become my automatic habit and became my like mental model, which make me more empathic. So yeah, that was the second mindset and characteristic of the salesperson. Next, it's something very related to being empathic. It's create, understand, and execute customer journey. So what it is and why I say it's related to empathy. We need to understand how the client is buying. So there are 5 stages. Usually people divide the buying process for the 5 stages. There is the awareness of the problem. Let's say like that. Second stage, it's research, where the people research and educating themselves. Third stage, they are making decision. Fourth stage is they making the purchase, and the fifth stage is after purchase customer service. Yes, let's say like that, or engagement. And we need to be emphatic to first of all understand where in the stage client it is. Actually, we need to be empathic to be able to ask ourselves this question, to care about other person, and as the first step to we need to know as a good salesperson, we need to know where in the sales process, in the buying process, excuse me, in the buying process where the person it is. That's the one example. Second, why the customer journey is so important. There are very important also to understand what kind of uh, approach we should take to marketing and to sales. So imagine that you working with the client who is just in the moment that realizing the problem. So you as a salesperson, you need to help him to multiply this problem, show him what are the consequences of this problem if he doesn't do something with this. However, if you're talking to the client who is already making purchase decision, you are in the stage that you will bring him few solution and help him to compare them. So very important to understand where they are and then choose right approach to help them make this. So that's the we have already number 3. Number 4, ask right question. Characteristic of the great salesperson is asking questions, is asking great questions. And again, I will stress one word, great. I keep sharing with my clients. We usually share to their sales team about the thinking process. What is the thinking process? Thinking process is asking and answering question in your head. So you might think at this moment, oh, is this right? Does he saying something correct or no? And what you did actually, you ask yourself questions, and this is how you think, how we think, and why I say we need to ask ourselves correct questions, because what question we will ask ourselves, then our brain will help us to find the answer. Let me explain you what I mean. If I ask myself why I am fat, which would be very bad question to ask, because my brain will probably help me answer this question and will say, Adam, you are fat because you are lazy. And what kind of benefit I have from knowing that I am lazy? I have no benefit at all. Actually, it's disadvantages for me to talking to myself, to have this kind of bad talk that I am lazy. So what would be the better question? How can I lose the weight quickly and have fun with this? Or even better, how can I lose the weight quickly, healthy, and have fun? And you see, and if I ask myself this kind of question, my brain will help me. Adam, you like playing basketball. So play basketball, find some friends, enjoy with them playing basketball. This kind of thinking process, it's much more beneficial for us. And coming back to asking right question, we need to know what right question we need to ask ourselves and ask client. So why I'm saying ask ourselves? Because for instance, you need to ask yourself where in the buying process client it is. And this is a very good question you can ask yourself. But also there are multiple questions that you can ask to the client, which are the right question to understand, especially in the discovery phase of the so the asking question is another element, the fourth element. Next, test, 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 and adjust. So this characteristic of the salesperson is with the mindset that we are not perfect, and the way we will approach the building the sales funnel, generating lead, working with the client is basically by testing, learning, and improving. And this is constant, never ending story. What we can test? We can test our campaigns. Is it email campaigns, LinkedIn campaigns? We can do A/B testing inside those campaigns. So we can test full campaigns, one against another. So let's say direct campaign has this and that kind of outcome. However, online meeting client or workshop session, it has this and that kind of conversion. And then inside those campaigns, this subject, this body, this call to action has this kind of conversion rate, so on and so forth. And then when we have the data, we improving. And additionally, if we educate ourselves, let's say, we find out some new sales technique, new sales methodology, test it, try it out and then adjust, make it suitable with your client and with your sales approach. Each salesperson has a different sales approach, and not every methodology it will be working for the every person. Sales, it's a little bit like working out on the gym with PT. So PT must be very intelligent to be able to tell you what kind of exercise is better for you than other, what exercise work for you very well, which one you're doing very good, and which one will not hurt you. So here with the sales, it's very similar. Okay, so that was one, two, three, four, fifth element, sixth element. Okay, let me move to seven element. Um, the good salesperson, they paying attention to the details, and I mean here on the multiple level. It's paying attention into your message, paying attention to your proposal, paying attention to the contract, paying attention to the client, paying attention to their unverbal behavior, their body language, paying attention to themselves, how our nonverbal communication look like, what kind of clothes I am wearing. This is all multiple important details that we need to pay attention to because they are stacking up, and at the end of the day they will help us to have a competitive advantage against other, and of course they will help us to become the better salesperson. And so point number 8 is pay attention to the details. Point number 9, which is quite related to test and adjust, and it means be persistent. Sales business development, it's quite difficult. It's actually difficult because of many reasons. This is a difficult job basically because you need to have a multiple different skills, communication skills, listening skills, persuasion skills, copywriting skills, a lot of different skills. So this is very difficult on the one level. On the second level, you need to be rejection proof, meaning you will face many rejections. Many people will tell you some bad things and which you don't want to hear. And then because even this kind of stuff happen, you need to keep going. You cannot give up. I mean, real salesperson will not give up. Real salesperson will be persistent. Real salesperson will keep in the mind that they need to test. Real salesperson keep in the mind that they need to prepare themselves and to execute strategy, prepare themselves to the meeting. Real salesperson will know that they need spend the time on education, learning new innovative way to the sales, because this area is changing all the time and we need to be better and better. So being persistent is another very important point. Actually, I knew one person, very good salesperson. If she listen now, I guess she knows who is she because she had one very unique thing. She had a tattoo on her forearm, and which say persistent. So, and she was really good salesperson. So this is how important it is that some salespeople they tattoo it on their forearms to be able to see it and apply it all the time. Um, okay, so let me move on. Next, it's um, be creative. So to be competitive and to win in the sales game, we need to come out with new approaches, new ways, new strategies, new methodologies, new frameworks, so on, forth. There is so many hundreds of thousands salespeople around the world. They try and sell the same thing what we are trying to sell, and to win in this competition, we need to be creative. we need to figure out the new ways. We need to try, we need to test, we need to be brave enough to try them out. And then we need to be persistent to collect data and then implement data. So this is like very good characteristic of the high level salespeople. They're quite creative and they creative in their sales skills and sales job, and they are not afraid. Next, it's remove the risk. If you listen my other podcasts, you will hear that I explain about three elements how the client making decision, and one of the element over there is a risk. Some clients that are more willing to take a risk, some clients that are less willing to take risk. Both generally having risk in the during the purchasing, it's perceived badly by client. Okay, we don't want to have a risk. So basically, when the client buying something, then the best what it is to sell them, it's something that they don't have to pay now. They will have a huge result, and then they only pay you after they get their dream outcome. So this is really easy to sell. Okay. Imagine, let's say you sell in software. You say to the client something like that: I will build for you this application. You pay me upfront for this application. I will build it for you. Then you go to the market. We help you fixing bug, maintenance, things like this. And if application doesn't work as you wish, we will give you all money back. I know this is, and if you send the offer to the client like this, you have a very easy job to sell the services, such as I represented this in the few sentences. If you present to the client this kind of offer, it will be very, very easy to sell to you, compared with the standard offer we have in IT industry. But obviously, people who are deeply in the sales, in the IT, they know selling IT application product project base with this kind of guarantee is nearly impossible because it's very risky for the sales, for the entity who is selling, for the company who is selling those services. But this is showing just power of how removing risk could add the value and make your sales much easier. So think about removing risk on the different level. Yes, you can remove the risk by assigning a designated customer success manager to the client and assuring that this customer success manager will be constantly working with the client on improving their product service and making sure there is everything going well. So this is the way you can remove the risk, and this is really doable and valuable for the client. And there are 1,000 other ways to remove the risk. Uh, Next, it's a little bit deeper and it's also about preparation, but preparation to the meeting. Always have your questions ready, always have your script ready, always have your pitching ready and information ready. And what I mean here, so I want here that salespeople, business development representative, or wherever you like call it, go a little bit deeper. What I mean, if you preparing to the meeting, you need to do it ad hoc. I mean, you cannot prepare once and then apply to all discovery phase, discovery calls with different client. It doesn't work like this. When you prepare yourself for the specific. So you have a client who work in the, let's say, medical industry or pharmaceutical or telco, wherever. Make sure that the question you will ask will be related to his industry and you list them out in advance. Make sure the presentation about your company you prepare has a case study relevant to that person. If somebody working in medical and you introduce them information about tourist projects, tourism and hospitality project that you made, it doesn't make sense for them. I know it makes sense for the salesperson who represented this because they feel proud, but it doesn't make sense for the client, and it's just basically wasting the time. So when we're thinking about the preparation, we're thinking about much deeper preparation here, yes? And maybe also be prepared and be relevant. That's how I should call this element here. And one more thing, by preparing, being relevant, preparing ad hoc information for the client, I think you pay respect to the client and you pay back for their time they invest to meet you. And this is something what we can do in exchange for goodwill of our prospects, that they join into the meeting, that they trust us. And what we can do, we can be prepared with information that are relevant to them. Okay, let me move to the next element. I think we are getting really close to the end. So this will be 14th element, or 13th, sorry. There is 3 more elements left us. So there is you remember when I explained about asking great questions, because this is how our brain thinks, and this is how we can make our life much better. And I have in today's presentation, I have 2 questions for you. And the first question is one element here of the great characteristic of the salespeople, and they asking themselves constantly following question: how can I double result with half of effort? And this question, if you think just for the second, how can I double the result with a half of effort? So imagine that daily you collect 100 leads. But this question telling you that during the day, during the 8 hours, when you collect 100 leads, we want to do it differently. I want to collect 200 leads in the. So if you think about this way, it sounds like crazy impossible. But I can tell you those things are possible and those are doable. We just need to be a little bit creative, and we need to think and ask ourselves, how can I double result with half of effort? And uh, let me give you such a great example. It's I guess if I remember, sorry, if I remember, it's from DHL or PDP, one of the delivery company worldwide, well-known delivery company. And what they figure out, they were trying to save the money and get the package delivered faster. And usually when somebody said, okay, we need deliver package faster, so they say, oh, we need to send more cars. And then increase the cost, obviously. So what they did, they did something amazing. They rewrote the track plan and how the parcel is delivered. What they did specifically, they forbidden and they create the routes for the that they forbidden the track cannot turn left. And this was the case study from US where this was the case study from US where the cars move they move on the right side of the road. So what's that mean in the practice? When you drive on the right side of the road and you want to turn left, you need to let go people who stand in front, who drive from in front of you, and then when the road is empty in front of you, then you can turn left. And this causes waste of the time and waste of the petrol. And the same with traffic light. Usually traffic light to turn left, there are much shorter and you need to wait. They turn to the green much longer. So what they did, they create the routes for the cars, for the tracks. They only turn right. And this was amazing, amazing move because they figure out the way how to deliver the package quicker, and they plan the routes for every track in advance, and they save $6 million per month on the petrol. This is crazy. So this is a really great example. I guess it's showing you this is possible. From my side, I did that also one time. Happened where I was really annoyed with the sending campaign manually on LinkedIn. This was a few years back. And I start researching, and I've stumbled upon the bot that did this for me. So imagine that at that time I was booking every morning to send around 50 message, invitation message, and around another 50 follow-up message to the client, and it was taking me usually 2 hours in the morning. And what I did, I found the bot. I found the bot. I learned how to use this, and then I built the campaigns in the bot. And from 2 hours and sending 50 invitation message and 50 follow-up message, I shorted it to 15-minute operation on every daily basis. Upload the list and making sure that the bot ran correctly. It's take me only 50 minutes, and I was still able to send 50 invitation. I mean, the machine, the software was sending for me, but I was able to increase follow-up message to 150. So I shortened the time significantly, like fivefold, and then I increased the number of effort I did. So this is possible. You just need to look into your work. Usually, it's very nice to apply this strategy to the work that you hate, because when you're successful, you're really proud of yourself. Yes, and that's bring me to the point number 14, and this is another question. This is the following question: what is in this for me? And this is the magic question that I am very sensitive to. What I mean, what is this question? This question is the question that the client keep asking in their heads themselves when we approach them. And if client cannot answer this question, they will not engage with you in any conversation. Most people know that whenever you work with my consulting firm and we teach you about the copywriting, about creating good content, we will reject any text that it doesn't answer this question. If you prepare any email, if you prepare any marketing copy, and we cannot answer the question, what is in this for me from the perspective of the client, this text will be rejected and will not go through. That's how important it is. And I highly recommend to print this question and hang it somewhere on the wall, because sometimes during the conversation we start talking some bullshit. Sorry for the language I use, but we start talking something not relevant, not related to the client, and we should be able to bring us back. We should be able to understand that in this moment, oh, I am talking something what is just making me feeling better. I am presenting some information about the company because just I am very proficient with this information, but they are not really related to the client. Client cannot answer the question, what is in this for me? So this is the question that allowed us to create great marketing, great emails, great messages, have a great conversation with the client. And that's why I love this question so much. And that's why I also, me and my company, my consultant, they are very, very sensitive to paying attention to this. You will see it in all our education material, which are related to copywriting or some foundation. You will see that how we much attention we pay to this matter, to be able to put yourself in the head of the client and make sure that what you're saying is relevant to them. Also, it's really related to empathy, as we were discussing before. If you don't have an empathy, you will not be able to understand if this what you're saying to the client it's relevant, it's something that client care or not. Also, I would like to digress a little bit, go back to empathy. I said that if you ask me what is the most important skill, I would say this is empathy. And the reason is because empathy is like a foundation. If you put empathy on the very bottom, and then every element you can build on top of that as a salesperson. So yeah, point number 14 is what is in this for me. And then The last point, I hope I was counting well, or maybe I missed one point. I think I missed one post, but let me continue. The next point will be follow up. There is this statistic. I don't remember where I get it from, but I learned from either some research paper or from some book that 40% of the client they will answer to you after fourth follow up. However, 60% of the salespeople they do not follow up more than 2 times. Can you see how powerful information is for you when we thinking about the sales and following up? This is giving you huge competitive advantage when you know just this number and you know that you should follow up and you should be persistent. And I believe there is not much more to say here because this is so obvious and straightforward. Keep follow up, design your campaigns to be at least 3, 4, 5 steps. And the last point for today, it's random. I didn't put it last because it's last and the most important. I wouldn't say this is the most important, but this kind of mindset, what I will introduce you now, it will help you to stay in the sales forever or for a long time. And why I'm encouraging people to stay in the sales? Because sales is the best job in the world, in my opinion. It's the best job in the world because 2 reasons. First of all, you can always find a job. Meaning, if you go to an entrepreneur, business owner, and you tell them, listen, mister, I will join to your company. I will sell your product. I don't need the fixed salary. I will do it on commission base. I don't know any business owner who wouldn't allow you to do it. Seriously. So finding the job is super, super easy. Second, there is no cap. There is no limitation how much you can earn. You can earn as much as you wish by selling the product of the people and working on commission. And that's why I will be encouraging everyone to become salespeople, but good salespeople and stay with the sales. And this will bring me to last point, long-term thinking. Being in sales, especially high-ticket product services, meaning something expensive, you need to be long-term thinker. You need to think about 2 months, 3 months ahead, 5 months, sometimes 1 year, 2 year ahead, because this is the sales cycle in the high ticket industries. Expectation that tomorrow you have a result, you sell $1 million contract and get the 10% commission on that, they're not realistic and they will make you only disappointed. Expectation that you will approach this client one time and tomorrow he reply to you and he asking you to set up meeting and buy from you the product, they're not realistic and they will guide you to disappointment. Expectation that first campaign will be perfect and the conversion rate will be huge, it's not realistic and it's guide you to disappointment. That's why you should think long term. You should have an expectation that the first thing can be your lesser. First approach is just a learning approach, and then you will get better. You will get better conversion. With the time, you will improve. And what should be your goal? It's actually stay in the game. I heard this from the Alex Hormozy. He's one of the greatest salespeople currently living and maybe public salesperson, because there are many salespeople who are probably better than him, but they're not sharing their knowledge. And he's a public person who's sharing his knowledge. And he said something really interesting. He said that in relation to the business, but I would put the same thing for the salespeople. It's not about the result you want to get today or tomorrow or next year. It's about how long you stay in the game. Why? Because statistic, it's supporting those who stay in the game. So being obsessed about having result today, improve today, and sell many deals today, it's actually against you. It's actually mathematically also against you, because mathematics is showing us that with the time, after 3 years, 5 years, there more and more people will leave. 90% leaving, 95 leaving after 5 years, something like that. But if you stay over 5 years, you are in the 5% that are. So long-term thinking also in this very micro level can help you in winning the game of the souls. That was my 15 elements. I will go through them again, read quickly to you. I hope I didn't miss anything. I hope I calculated right. There was 15 or 14 elements. Forgive me if I got some small calculation mistake, but that's the life. We are making a mistake, and I am not perfect too. I did prepare for my presentation for my podcast today, but maybe I could meet something, and I will learn. Next time I will improve. So here are 14 elements that creating characteristic mindset and amazing salespeople, as well as sales departments. Prepare and execute strategy. Test, 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 and adjust. How can I double the result with half of effort? Create and execute customer journey. Be persistent. Pay attention to details. Ask right questions. Be creative. Be prepared. Have a prepared list of the questions, scripts, pitching, information that are relevant to the client. Remove risk. Follow up. Be empathic. What is in this for me? So that was the all elements I want to share with you. And I would like to ask you for some favor, because today episode was obviously much longer. We're reaching now 50 minutes. And I just wonder, is this kind of longer episode are suitable with you, or you rather the shorter one like we had 20 minutes before? That's the first question. And first ask I have to you. Second, do you like talking more about this kind of mindset and characteristic, or you guys rather more strategic approach and then step by steps formula as I used to do with before podcast? I'm very curious to hear your opinion about that, and I would be very grateful, and it would mean the world to me if you just can share this information in the comment below. Or you can also reach me directly on LinkedIn. My name is Adam Skoneczny, and you can recognize me by seeing that I am CEO of EVIT organization. I guess there are a few other Adam Skonecznys down there. So basically, there is only one CEO of EVIT organization. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you did enjoy this podcast as I did. Also, please stay tuned. I am making commitment with you that even though next month I'm leaving to Europe, I will still keep recording. Maybe I will not have my microphone with me. Maybe the voice will not be so crispy and amazing, but I will still keep going and publishing the content. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. This was Go Global Asia podcast, and wish you great sales and closing deals, big deals today.